Subscribe, fuckers. Now let's get in the video. Power, influence, and corruption. The story of U.S. Senator Bob Menendez is one that shakes the very foundation of American politics. Once a respected statesman, his fall from grace became one of the biggest scandals in recent political history. This is the full story of Bob Menendez's corruption case. A tale of gold bars, bribery, and betrayal. Born in 1954 to Cuban immigrants, Robert Menendez built a career as a public servant, serving as mayor of Union City, a congressman, and later a U.S. senator. For decades, he was a Democratic power player, rising through the ranks to become the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Even before his latest scandal, Menendez had faced corruption allegations. In 2015, he was indicted for accepting luxury gifts and lavish vacations from a wealthy donor. However, that case ended in a mistrial in 2017. The senator remained in office, but the shadows of corruption followed him. Fast forward to 2023. The FBI uncovered a shocking scheme. Menendez and his wife had allegedly accepted bribes in the form of gold bars, luxury vehicles, and envelopes stuffed with cash. The bribes, prosecutors argued, were in exchange for political favors benefiting Egyptian businessmen and interests. In September 2023, FBI agents raided Menendez's home, uncovering $480,000 in cash hidden in closets and jackets, along with gold bars worth hundreds of thousands. The indictment charged him with bribery, acting as a foreign agent, and obstruction of justice. It was a bombshell that rocked Washington, D.C. Menendez pleaded not guilty, but the evidence was overwhelming. In July 2024, after weeks of testimony, he was found guilty on 16 counts, including acting as an agent for Egypt, a rare and serious charge for a sitting U.S. senator. Corruption within the political sphere, especially among elected officials, poses a significant threat to the integrity of democracy. Senators, as key representatives of the public, are expected to act in the best interests of the citizens they serve. However, when corruption takes root within the Senate, it undermines public trust and hinders the effectiveness of democratic processes. On January 29, 2025, this fucker Bob Menendez was sentenced to 11 years in federal prison. His once powerful political career was over, his legacy tainted by corruption. Menendez's downfall sent shockwaves through the Democratic Party and raised questions about political accountability. His Senate seat was filled by Democrat Andy Kim, and lawmakers called for stricter ethics laws to prevent future corruption. From the heights of political power to a prison cell, Bob Menendez's story is a cautionary tale. Power can be fleeting, and corruption carries a heavy price. Will Washington learn from this? Or is this just another chapter in the long history of political scandals? Only time will tell. Corruption in the Senate is not always the result of a few rogue individuals. Often, it stems from a systemic culture where unethical behavior becomes normalized or even expected.
Good morning, Mary. It's going to be a busy day ahead here in federal court. The two New Jersey businessmen Menendez stood trial alongside of will be sentenced first this morning, and then the former senator himself will follow in the afternoon. Federal prosecutors are pressing for a lengthy prison sentence of 15 years for 71-year-old Menendez. In their submission to the court, they called the case a historical rarity because the senator abused his powerful post on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and because he acted as an agent of Egypt. Defense attorneys, meanwhile, are calling for leniency, asking for less than 2 years, saying their client has suffered financial and professional ruin and is deserving of mercy because of his age. Menendez was convicted last July along with businessmen Fred Davies and Will Hanna, whom prosecutors say bribed him with gold bars and cash. He has tried overturning his 16-count felony conviction, arguing the jury was given a laptop containing material that was supposed to be excluded from trial. That did not work, and neither did his attempt to delay sentencing until his wife's trial is over this March. At sentencing today, prosecutors will also be calling on Menendez's two co-defendants to face lengthy sentences too. They are asking for at least 10 years for Will Hanna and at least 9 years for Fred Davies. Reporting live from Lower Manhattan, Christina Fan, CBS News, New York.
Christina, thank you.
In such an environment, corrupt actions are overlooked, justified, or even enabled by those in positions of power. This culture of corruption can thrive in the absence of strong institutional checks and balances, making it difficult for reform to take root. Additionally, the interconnection between money, power, and influence often makes it easier for senators to succumb to corruption. Political campaigns require substantial funding, which often comes from powerful lobbying groups, corporations, or wealthy individuals. In exchange for their financial support, these donors may expect favorable treatment once the senator is in office. This creates a cycle where senators feel indebted to special interests, which can lead to decisions that do not align with the public's needs or values. One of the key enablers of corruption is the role of lobbying and special interest groups. While lobbying is legal, its influence can become problematic when it crosses the line into undue influence or bribery. Senators may be swayed by the financial backing or promises of lucrative post office employment offered by lobbyists who represent powerful industries. In these cases, the senator's legislative agenda may be shaped more by the desires of a few corporations or individuals than by the needs of the people they represent. This kind of corruption doesn't always take the form of direct payments or bribes. Sometimes, the quid pro quo is more subtle, such as a promise of future career opportunities or political donations in exchange for favorable legislation. While legal frameworks exist to regulate lobbying, the enforcement of these laws is often lax, making it easier for such corrupt practices to persist. In many cases, political parties themselves can inadvertently contribute to corruption. Party loyalty can sometimes overshadow the need for ethical governance. When senators are more focused on maintaining party control and protecting their political allies, they may turn a blind eye to corrupt activities within their ranks. This party-over-people mentality fosters an environment in which senators feel shielded from accountability. Additionally, partisan politics can lead to the dismissal of corruption allegations as politically motivated attacks. This diminishes the credibility of anti-corruption efforts and prevents meaningful investigation and reform. In some instances, corruption is ignored or even downplayed by political parties, leading to a normalization of unethical behavior. Public apathy and its consequences. Another factor that enables corruption to thrive is public apathy. When citizens become disillusioned with the political system, they may feel that corruption is inevitable and that their voices cannot make a difference. This apathy leads to disengagement, which allows corrupt practices to continue unchecked. A passive electorate gives corrupt politicians the space to operate with impunity, further entrenching a cycle of abuse. Moreover, when people lack access to accurate information or become skeptical of the media, they may struggle to identify corruption, making it easier for unscrupulous senators to maintain power. In these cases, the lack of transparency in government further complicates efforts to root out corruption, fostering a culture of integrity. Breaking the cycle of corruption requires a cultural shift in how both lawmakers and the public approach the political process. For senators, it means prioritizing the interests of the people over party, power, and profit. It also requires a commitment to transparency, regular public disclosures, and the rejection of influence from special interests. For the public, it means demanding more accountability from elected officials and participating actively in the political process. Voter education and engagement are crucial in ensuring that the electorate is informed and able to hold their representatives accountable. The power to prevent or address corruption ultimately lies in the hands of the people who elect and re-elect these officials. Independent media and watchdog organizations play a pivotal role in exposing corruption and holding elected officials accountable. Investigative journalism can uncover hidden corruption, revealing how public resources are being misused or how political deals are being brokered behind closed doors. These efforts help shine a light on unethical behavior, providing the public with the information they need to demand change. Watchdog organizations, both governmental and non-governmental, also provide vital oversight, monitoring the behavior of lawmakers and alerting the public to potential violations. Their work helps maintain the checks and balances that are so critical to upholding democratic principles. Corruption among senators is not a problem that can be solved overnight, but with continued vigilance, reform, and engagement, it is possible to reduce its prevalence. Transparency, accountability, and an active, informed citizenry are essential in combating corruption and restoring the integrity of the political system. By tackling corruption head-on, society can work toward a more just and equitable democracy, where elected officials truly represent the will of the people and not their own selfish interests. Bob Menendez is currently serving his sentence in federal prison. His case remains one of the most shocking examples of political corruption in modern U.S. history. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more explorations into the past. Let me know in the comments what city or topic you'd like me to cover next. Until next time, stay curious and stay strong. Make sure you subscribe.